Today I'm going to be sharing with you a 30-day challenge that I did that has absolutely transformed my mindset and changed my life. I hope you are going to be trying it at the end of this video as well. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name's Sarah. I'm a doctor in the UK, and recently I have been doing a deep dive into self-development, and I'm really excited to be sharing with you on this channel all of the stuff that I've been learning and the resources that have helped me. So recently I read The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Really great book, and one of the first things that he talks about is taking responsibility for your life. And he suggests that we all try a 30 days of no complaining challenge. And as I was reading, I thought, you know what have I got to lose? I'm going to give it a go. And honestly, it's had a really profound effect on me, much more than I thought. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 3 main lessons I learned from this, and hopefully I can persuade you to try this challenge as well. So lesson number 1, when we complain, we give away our power. I recently listened to an episode of Science of Success podcast, and if you haven't listened to it, it's really good. I'd recommend it. They had a guest expert on, Dr. Amy Cuddy, who's an American social psychologist and renowned author, and she talks about the idea of personal power, and she defines this as having a feeling of control over your actions, your resources and your destiny. When we start to feel powerless, our fight or flight mechanisms kick in. We start to feel fearful, we feel anxious, and we actually display this in our body language by contracting inwards. We cross our arms over our body, we move away from other people, we start to touch our necks and our faces. And this is a really interesting concept, and I like how it links to this complaining theory. And when we complain, we essentially give away our power and our responsibility and our ability to act upon certain things. In the Success Principles book, Jack Canfield mentions that there are things that we don't have control over, certain events, the way that people behave, the weather, but we do have control over how we respond to things, and therefore we have some control over the outcome. He gives the formula E plus R equals O. Events plus response equals outcome. And we can change our response, i.e. our actions, our behaviours, our attitudes, and therefore we have some control over the outcomes of a situation. I like this idea because it gives us back some personal power, and instead of complaining about something, we have the ability to change the way that we're thinking, behaving and acting. The second point about the no complaining challenge is to decide if you really want the outcome. So this is about taking full responsibility, no complaining, no blaming. When you give up complaining, you have to think about the outcome you want and decide if you really want to do the work to get the outcome, or if you're happy to just settle for the status quo and continue with the thing that's bothering you. I can give a personal example of this. A few years ago, one of my colleagues kept complaining about her husband and saying how messy he was at home, how she did loads of cleaning and she expected him to also do the same amount of cleaning and tidying, and that he just wasn't bothered, wasn't into it, and she was feeling really sort of martyred about this, and she was feeling really frustrated about the situation. She took his lack of cleaning and tidying as a personal insult. I remember her coming into work one day and being really angry that she had said to her husband, I want you to clean. He told her, I don't want to do it. And she'd said, well, neither do I. And then she had a penny drop moment where she realized that if neither of them wanted to do it, but she wanted the outcome of a clean house, she should just pay for a cleaner out of their joint account money. She did this, and she said that the result was amazing. Her and her husband were no longer fighting, and she got the outcome she wanted, which was a clean and tidy house. So doing this no complaining challenge reminded me of that situation, and when I have felt like complaining in the last 30 days, I've thought about the outcome I want from the situation and tried to flip it around and work out if there's a solution or whether I'm just happy to suck it up and get on with it. In order to complain about something or someone, you have to believe that something better exists. I've had to be really mindful of myself complaining in the last 30 days. And one of the things that I find that I want to complain about the most is being tired, talking about how I haven't had enough sleep and how many hours sleep I've had. And I've realized that it's completely fruitless. It doesn't help anyone. It just brings a negative energy to the room, to the team, if I'm complaining about it at work, or to Vince if I'm complaining about it to him. It doesn't help. It doesn't make me feel more energized, and ultimately it's my choice the hours I work. I decide to work night shifts, I decide to work weekends, and so really being mindful of that has helped me to realize that I do have some control in this situation and that it's okay. The third point that Jack Canfield makes on this topic is that you're complaining to the wrong person. Have you ever noticed that when we're complaining, we tend to complain to our family about work, our spouse about our family, and you're not actually addressing the person that you need to be talking to about the problem? There's a reason for that. We are avoiding the solution. Actually doing something about the thing we're complaining about is risky. It means that we have to be courageous, we have to address difficult issues, and it's actually easier to just complain about it. It's a form of social bonding in a weird way. It's something that's easy to talk about and it feels good to complain. In the book, he gives a really simple exercise to develop a solutions-based mindset around complaining, and I found this exercise really helpful, and I would encourage you to try it. So you write down the things that you find yourself complaining about most, and for me that was definitely tiredness, and then you write those things down again, but with the sentence before "I prefer to have," and then what you would rather have instead of the thing that you're complaining about, and then you write "but instead I like to complain about," and then you write your complaint again. And then after each of these, you write, "Instead of complaining, I could do ... to get what I want." And this is a really powerful exercise. It allows you to think creatively. It gives you that personal power back. You start to feel creative and you start to feel positive about the thing that you're complaining about initially. So, what have been my personal experiences with no complaining for 30 days? The first is that it has been a challenge. It's a simple task, but that doesn't mean it's easy. And often the things that are worthwhile doing are the simple things that aren't easy. I've noticed that it's a real conscious effort, and I've found that I've had to actually train my mind not to think about complaining, not verbalizing it. Like I said before, there have been times when I've been sitting on a night shift and I have had the urge to complain about how long is left on the shift, or how tired I'm feeling, or how busy it is, and I've really had to stop myself from doing that. And then not just stop myself from saying it out loud, but to change what I'm thinking in my head and realize that it's not a productive thought and that there are loads of good things happening around me. It's been really interesting to notice that because I'm trying not to complain, I've noticed when other people are complaining, and it's an interesting exercise because when I've been at work, for example, and I hear other people complaining, it's interesting to watch how other people respond to that. It really does bring the energy and the vibe down of the team, and it's made me even more aware that being positive and saying good things lifts everyone's spirits, and I think we need more of that. The only bad thing I've noticed, and this isn't a complaint, it's just an observation, is that I found myself feeling more intolerant when people are complaining, because I feel like saying to them that it's not worth saying if there's a solution, and as I have been feeling that I'm learning that complaining isn't good, I'm trying to do this exercise, I want to pass that on to other people. But I think that's a quick fire way to lose friends. So I'm not going to verbalize that. The thing that's been a really great outcome from this is that I generally feel more positive, and I think it's had a really positive impact on my relationship with Vince as well. He's actually been doing the challenge with me, and I've noticed that we have more positive interactions. I didn't quite realise how much of our time we spend complaining about how our muscles ache from doing a workout, or we're tired, or we've been staying up too late, those kind of things. And instead of complaining, we've been having much more positive interactions and finding more exciting things to talk about than just complaining. I actually also feel more confident because I'm starting to think about things in a more solutions oriented way. So I'll give an example of that. The other day I was thinking, started having a complaining thought about how I'm not getting as many clients in my aesthetics business as I would really like to. I'm feeling impatient with it. I am getting clients, but I want it to be faster. And I immediately had to snap myself out of that and think about how this was on me and how I can be responsible for making my outcome more desirable. So I procrastinated a little bit because that's what I do apparently, and then I got myself up and I went out of the house and I told myself I'm going to go to 10 hair and beauty salons, introduce myself and offer them a discount and let them know that I'm a local business, and do some networking with them, you know, get them to know my face, get them, you know, find out about their business, just have a face-to-face conversation. And I was thinking that hairdressers and beauticians are people that talk to my target audience all day, every day. And if I can get them talking about my business, then that is ultimately going to bring me more customers. And I went out of the house. Instead of going to 10 salons, I went to 12 because I thought I could push myself a little bit further. And I came home feeling really energized and happy and excited and confident. Whereas before, when I was thinking this kind of complaining thought, I was feeling like deflated and powerless, as we talked about at the start of the video. So I hope you found this video interesting, and I hope that I can encourage you to try the exercise and to try the 30 days of no complaining. If you are thinking of doing this challenge, let me know in the comments below. I will comment back and check on you and see how you've been getting on with it, because I think it's great to have some accountability in this. The three main things that I've learned from this challenge are: 1, when we complain, we give away our power. 2, decide if you really want the outcome. And if you do, then you've got to think of a solution to make that happen. And number 3, stop complaining to the wrong person. The Success Principles is a really great book. I would recommend it. I've linked it down below if you want to check that out. And also I've put a link to Audible. If you aren't already a member, I've got a link to a free download of an audiobook. Check that out. And if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm know that you like my content, and it will share it to more people. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.